Before this starts, I'm sorry, I've done it again. I didn't turn my microphone on. The audio you can hear from my side is coming directly from my laptop microphone. Everybody else's sounds great, but I'm a little bit echoey and a bit, apologies. I'll do better. Welcome to Freddie Run's Runners Connect podcast, where Freddie and Scott explore the world of running, fitness, and beyond. But before we dive into today's episode, a quick disclaimer. Whilst we love to share experiences and insights, we are not coaches nor nutritionists, so remember, nothing discussed here is intended as professional advice. Always consult with qualified experts for personalised guidance. Enjoy the podcast. Hello, welcome back to the Runners Connect podcast. And before we start, I want to ask you a question about that. We both call it different things. I don't know if you've noticed. I call it the Runners Connect podcast. You call it the Freddie Runs podcast. I've noticed. We need to decide what we're calling it. We need to decide what we're calling it because it's number 7. And number 7 means we've got a proper podcast. So we have to come up with a proper name and stick with it.
We need to keep PLODcast because we're both plodders. There's nothing elite 100%. About what we do for a living. But yeah, it's got Runners Connect in the top corner, isn't it, on the screen?
Yeah, we'll stop calling it Freddie Runs then.
Sorry, yeah. I'm still learning all this Instagram stuff, as you know. So
yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Like we say, number 7. So we're official now. We've got a proper podcast. And it's been going really well. I've been really enjoying it up to now. And we've had some really good guests. And today's not going to disappoint either, but we'll get on to who that is in a minute. How has your week been, Scott, with your training?
Spot on, yeah. I'm just nothing major ground shaking wise progress. I've just been following my Endure 24 plan. Did a long run today, nice park run yesterday, and I bumped into Chris and Kaylee from those two runners who were on the podcast last time. And they were going for Sunderland 10K and half marathon this morning, which is Sunday the 12th today. On the subject of that, I know you were a late entry into it, weren't you? And I know you've posted already, so a lot of people may already know the results of this, but how did your half marathon attempt go this morning?
I had a good day today. I had a really good day. So I went into Gathead with my PB being 2:16. And I was asked this morning, I bumped into Chris and Kaylee this morning, and I went with Jack, a friend of the channel. And they all asked me, what's your plan today? What's your target? Or what's your goal? Whatever you want to call it. And it was to go sub 2:16. Don't care if it's 2:15, 2:14, 2:13, whatever it is. Good route, good, tough route. It was quite hilly, more hilly than Gateshead last week, which I wasn't expecting until pretty much. In fact, Jamie Davison put it in the group on Strava. And he posted his route from last year on there, and I was like, look at the hills in there. Yeah, look at the hills in there. And I was like, okay, it is what it is. Let's just go for it. But it was a good route. There was never really that much where it was flat. It felt to me like you're always going up or down a little bit. Well supported, people everywhere, and I got round in 2:09, so a 7-minute PB.
Excellent.
I can't grumble with that.
You cannot grumble at all. That's brilliant, mate. Well done.
Yeah,
absolutely,
no, really challenging. And I had a really, really good day. Again, it was great to meet Chris and Kaylee face to face.
Yeah.
From those two runners. It was just nice to have a catch up briefly. And it was unfortunate that Chris couldn't run today. He's been a bit under the weather for this week, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
But Kaylee also got a PB in a 10K. She smashed out a 47-minute job, and that's been brilliant, isn't it?
That's rapid, and maybe one day I might get somewhere close to that speed of running. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But well done, Kaylee, as well. That's excellent.
Yeah. and to celebrate, I am having a cheeky beer on the podcast tonight, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
On a school night. That's ridiculous.
Yep. It's worth it.
Well, cheers, mate. You've earned it. Well done.
Thanks, buddy. So go on.
So, yeah, the rest of your May calendar is looking quite interesting as well, considering you did a pacing at Gateshead half marathon last week. How did you get on with that? We've seen in the vlog.
Hands down best race that I've done to date, because there was no pressure on me to get a time. Well, it kind of was, but not I didn't have to go for a PB or anything.
Stop you there. So you decided you were going to pace anybody wanting to do 2 hours and 40 minutes. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody what you actually achieved in your time when you crossed that finish line?
2:39.53.
You should play the craps tables, mate.
That
That's
ain't bad, is it?
unbelievably accurate.
Yeah, that ain't bad. I think actually 2:39:53 was what my watch said. My chip time said 2:39:47. So
Yeah,
still pretty close.
pretty accurate. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So no, really chuffed with that. That meant that anyone that was running with me got close to their time. They could have got that sub 40. And I was really chuffed. There was a girl that I was running with called Danielle who latched on to me probably after the first mile or two.
yeah,
And then we ran together, and she was doing really. There was a couple of times she'd drop behind, and then she would catch up again. But weirdly, when she would catch me up, would be on the hills.
yeah.
It was as we were going, and in my head, I was like, no, slow down on the hills, catch me up on the flats or the downs, because
Save the legs.
yeah. But she would catch me up on the hills, and eventually, unfortunately, when she did catch me up one time, she was then like, I'm busting, I really need to go to the loo, and I'm pacer, I can't stop.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry. And I said that in my vlog. I was like, I feel so bad because I know that if I'd have waited for her, we could have still got the time. No, because we had at that point we had 38 seconds in the bank,
yeah,
and 38 seconds. You can go for a wee in 38 seconds.
yeah.
You can. But I couldn't stop. And unfortunately, she never quite caught me. We did see each other again on the turnaround points, and she did start getting closer at one point, but she didn't catch me. But the happy ending to that was she still got a PB, and she finished in 2:50.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
that was amazing. And I think it's her partner, a guy called Wayne, posted a short on YouTube and tagged me in it. So I got to see her finishing the run. So that was amazing.
So
But
hopefully,
hands down,
well done, Danielle. That's brilliant.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well done, Danielle. But hands down, the most fun that I've had doing like a half marathon or something like that. There was just nothing to love about it. I would say to anybody, if you're confident or comfortable that you can get round in a time, whatever that time is, and there's a pacing slot available, just go and do it. Because I
Yeah,
tell you what, you do such a favour to those. I mean, we've all been there where we're being paced by people, and you're always thankful for that person that gets you around in that time. Go and
yeah,
be that person. Why not? If you've got the
yeah.
ability to do, then go and do it because it's the most fun you'll ever have.
It did look like a fun day, to be fair. So,
Yeah,
just for for May, then you'll have done the Gateshead half marathon. You've
yeah,
done Sunderland half marathon today.
yeah.
Are you doing 2 weeks' time? You're
Edinburgh.
doing Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Yeah, Edinburgh half. That's going to be Kat, who I did the 10K with last year. That was her first ever 10K. This
Yeah,
is going to be her first ever half marathon. So she's
brilliant.
asked me to come along and pace her around that. So that's going to be another one that's going to be really good fun. And
And
I'm thinking that's going to probably be about the same sort of time, around the 2:40ish, something like that.
yeah,
But it's going to be a really good day. Yeah, can't wait.
and you're going to end up with more medals than Mr. T by the end of this year, I think.
Mate, who
So
knew? Who knew 18 months ago I'd be doing half marathons for fun? You know,
this is
it's
this
bonkers.
is well, what a lead into our guest then, because this is exactly what
Yes.
this is going to be about.
Yeah, go for it. Go
Setting
on. You get
yourself a
the intro, mate.
target, and, yeah, doing something. So I'm going to introduce this week.
Yep.
I know you wrote a little script last week for Chris and Kaylee, so I did the same this week for our new this week's guest. So without sounding like a best man speech, this week's guest has been a long time coming, and we have been trying to get her on for a while now. But as you'll hear shortly, she's pretty much a busy bee all the time. And if you follow her journey on YouTube, you'll already know this. She just doesn't stop. Her life is ridiculous. It makes me feel tired watching her videos. So she vlogs everything to do with running, but it's not just about running. The whole journey and what she does, she vlogs her lifestyle and the changes she's made to get to where she wants to be. And the very honest videos like yours, Freddie. She captures the good moments as well as the bad moments. And when there's tears to be shown, they're not edited out because it's not easy. If it was easy,
No.
everyone would be a runner, you know. So it's a really brilliant channel, and it's something I flagged to you a while ago, and I was like, we really need to get this person on. So if no further ado, let's bring her on. But for anyone that doesn't know yet, this week's guest is a very inspirational Lucy Shaw from Lucy Shaw's Vlogs.
Hi, Lucy.
What an intro!
Well deserved, if you ask me. How's
you.
things, Lucy?
Good. I'm just going to move
Storm's part of this, by the way, because he's on your channel every week, so he needs to be part of this.
I didn't expect him to be this part. Yeah, sit down. Yes, no, I'm good. Thank you. Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you guys.
Good. Good. So, Lucy, we're going to go right back now. One thing I really like about what you do on your channel, and you persevere with this, and I like that you do, is you pretty much, probably word for word, say the same thing most of the time on your intro, which I really like. Which I really like. You don't have to say it verbatim now, but
I could say it in my sleep, I
you
think.
probably could. Go back to that Lucy that started vlogging. How long have you been vlogging for?
The Lucy that started vlogging was, I think it was January 2021. I started my channel, so it was a year in to me starting this whole journey, and I just did so well, and in that year, my confidence was sky high, and I just wanted to share it. Can you hear the dog panting, or is
It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He's like right in front of me. I was talking to three of you.
It's a warm day.
Yeah. I just had I had so much confidence and belief in myself, and I wanted to share it. I wanted to be that person that I was looking for in the beginning, because I felt like, why not me? After achieving so much in that year, that's kind of it, really. I asked my husband, and he was like, yeah, why not? Didn't sound bothered, so I thought, well, it can't be a big deal.
Right.
If he's I just started it. Yeah.
But explain to those that maybe that haven't seen your channel yet. Is not why did you start the channel, but the year before you started the channel, what happened to you?
Well, that year, so this is like 4 years ago, so I'm gonna try and keep it as honest as I can. So I was morbidly obese at the time. I didn't know it, but I had a hormonal condition. I am a military wife, so in terms of, I don't get to pick where I live, how long I'm there for, the kind of life I'm living, in a way, because I have to live as if I'm a single parent. I have to plan my life to be, I could be on my own at any point. I could live somewhere new. Not at any point. I get some kind of warning, but you know, he could come home and say we're moving at any point. And I just wasn't happy. I was uncomfortable. I couldn't live a life for me. I was just mum and Matt's wife, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And I think being a military wife anyway, you're kind of just seen as a military wife. The questions you get asked are, you know, have you made friends, or like, how's your husband's work, like, how's your husband? It's never really, how are you, what do you do for work? And you kind of, I'm very generalizing here, but
Sure.
you are kind of boxed in. So I felt like I was army wife. I did what the military told me to do in terms of lifestyle. I have a child now. She was 2, I think. 1.5, 2. She was very young. And then I also was a wife. So none of that was me. There was no Lucy, just me as a person. I was living like this, and I was so unhappy. And I think the reason, but another reason why I ended up putting on so much weight, was that was the only thing I had for me. Why would I take away the foods that I enjoy when that's the only me time I get?
Yeah, that's where you got your pleasure.
That's it. And if I was to take that away, I just sat back and I thought, what's left? You know, what can I? Yeah, so I decided that I was going to try and lose some weight and get comfortable. And then eventually the running came into it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of, that's who I was. I was very uncomfortable, unhappy, unconfident, and I felt like I was controlled by my lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I couldn't make the choices that I wanted to.
Just so to be open with you, I entirely understand where you're coming from, and I tell you why I entirely understand is I grew up in a military family as a pad brat, and then I joined the army myself for 10 years. So, and I was married, during that time as well. So I totally get where you're coming from and totally understand it. And it's funny,
Yeah.
I would never have said that at the time when I was around the forces. I would never have recognised it. But now I've come away.
Really?
Yeah, now I've
Yeah.
come away and I can look back. I totally get what you're saying. You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I tried to. I never feel like I'm very good at explaining things.
No,
I say
you
that a
do.
lot in my videos. I'm like, I hope that makes sense. Yeah.
Totally does. So I mean, you talked about being morbidly obese. You don't have to answer this, but I know you have in your videos. Put a number on that. What?
Oh, it was 230 pounds.
Right.
Was me at my heaviest. That was me stepping on the scales and making a note. This is day one, 230 pounds. Yeah. So
Right.
I mean, I could have been more at some point, but I haven't really thought about it. That was day one. Yeah.
Got you. So right. So you'd lost a bit of weight, but when you did that. Already?
I doubt I did, but I could have been a couple pounds more. I don't know. Yeah, but that was day one.
And why? Sorry, go for it, Scott.
I was just going to say, for those who haven't seen your channel yet, highly recommend you do. But you show a thumbnail at the very beginning of most of your uploads of how you were before
In
you
the
started.
kitchen with a mixing bowl.
Yes.
I was making
the one,
Yorkshire puddings.
Yeah.
I'm
And
good at making those.
They're addictive as well, aren't they? But the difference between the before and progress photos now, it's unbelievable. I highly recommend everyone check it out for just what you can achieve when you put your mind to it, because when you look back at that now, you must feel really proud of where you are right now today.
I love looking at her because I think there's a lot of controversy when it comes to before and after photos. Some people don't like them. I use it because I want the visuals are a lot easier to understand than if I was to tell you how hard it is. And I was this weight and I felt like this. But if you see the difference between the two, and when I look back at her, she is the person I'm trying to be, if that makes sense. So she made the decision to do something about it and she kept going. She never quit on herself. And just because I was at my heaviest and I'm a lot bigger there, she's still who I want to be. So when I need to, have a check-in with myself, looking at my before picture motivates me, not because I could get that bad if I stop. It's I want to be like her, so let's keep going.
Right.
Look what she's done. That's kind of how. So I like to use that, and I also don't have many before pictures at all. I never took photos or videos, so that's why it's the same one. Because I don't have any more. But
it's really interesting the language you use. You refer to her as if she was somebody else.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, but I definitely see her as me, 100%. Yeah.
Right, that's cool.
So Lucy, why? I know you said you spoke to Matt, and Matt's a big part of your channel as well. When he's home, he often makes a cameo. Obviously, he's fit as a fiddle. I've seen some of the stuff he's achieved as well. Why running? Was this something Matt said? Go running? Well, why not join a gym? Why not do Zumba classes? What drew you to running?
I think running it's what I wanted to do. When I saw myself in the body that I was hoping to achieve, I saw myself running in that body. That's what I wanted to do. I'd never picture myself in a gym lifting weights or using machines. That doesn't motivate me. But running has always just kind of been like, if there was a menu of sports, that one, I would go for that one.
I think we agree with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say 100% agree. I'm the same. I'm only a year into this myself, and I started, and yes, it was hard and it hurt my knees, and I was overweight. And I was telling Freddie a while ago, but I hid for a couple of months in the shed on a treadmill because I was too embarrassed to run in the streets. And I'm the same. I've got hardly any before photos because I just didn't. I hated getting my photo taken. but running was always the one that attracted me to it. And to be fair as well, it costs you the cost of a pair of trainers to get started. You don't need equipment, you don't need a subscription.
Which we've learned doesn't mean it's cheap.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know that now.
Yeah. But so Lucy, I know Scott mentioned a minute ago that you do share your good points and your low points, and I've tried to do the same, and it's a difficult decision to make sometimes, I think, because there have been times. I'll be honest, I got myself crying today crossing the finish line at the half marathon. It was when I got past the finish line and then down to a corner by myself, and I had a little cry then, and I don't know if I got it on camera or not actually, but it was just the emotion of the whole. God, what I've just done, I just took 7 minutes off my time, and it's like it really hit me over the back of the head, sort of thing. Like, how difficult or easy do you find that decision to make if you're having a really shit day, and you go for a run, or the run doesn't go well, or whatever else? Are you quite comfortable sharing those moments?
I think I'm just used to it now. It is strange because I feel like I have someone with me. I feel like I'm actually talking to someone. I know, like, in the beginning, you feel so silly. And I'd want to film a clip and, I think Storm just moved my tripod, sorry.
No,
it's just
fine.
laid on it. I would want to film a clip and I'd make sure no one was around, look around. Even if a car was coming, I wouldn't even pull my camera out or my phone, whatever I'm using. But now... it feels so natural now, so normal. I do feel like I'm running with someone, and I love when I'm doing my long runs. I love having that. Sometimes you just want to moan. Like, this is so hard, and I hate this. Why am I doing this? And I feel better as well after I've ranted out loud.
Yeah. But I relate to that. I agree. I get my camera out when I'm running. And I do feel like I'm having a conversation with somebody. I almost feel like I'm getting something back at the same time.
Yeah.
Where you're talking to yourself in your head, aren't you?
Yeah.
Totally relate to that.
I'm going to have to try. I was a non-vlogging person who
100%.
doesn't do this. I did my long run this morning and I ran past the Transporter Bridge, which is a famous bridge in Teesside, and it's been used in Alvida St. Pet and stuff like that. And I nearly got my camera out to film it and do a quick, this is still here, because in the show... it was deemed to have been moved to Arizona or somewhere like that, but it never really moved. And I was going to do it while I was running, and I looked over my shoulder and seen a car coming, and I thought, I can't do this, I'm going to cringe. So I didn't. I couldn't do it.
It's hard, mate. It's hard for the first... Well, I still struggle in some certain situations. Even like today when I was at the event this morning, I'm walking through crowds of people. I waited till I got around the corner to do a piece of the camera. Because even though not everybody, well, probably everybody there watches somebody on YouTube when it comes to running vlogs, I imagine. So actually, they don't care and they don't think you're stupid, but you still feel it. But I think, Scott, stop delaying. Get your camera out next time you go for a run, mate, and give it a go.
You're right. It's probably in your own head, because as a viewer, and I still feel like a viewer of both your channels, I'm really invested in like the content you guys upload. And Lucy, like, we'll come on to it shortly, but your ultramarathon video last year when you ran with Matt in like the hottest day of the year, it was like running on the equator. That was a full-on emotional roller coaster, that video. It was like you captured every kind of human emotion possible in that video. And not once did I think this is cringy or I wouldn't do that. But because you're viewing and you're invested. But if I was to try and film something like that, I'd be so paranoid about getting it wrong or making it look false and stuff. But when you're viewing, it's totally absorbed.
Yeah. What helped me is sometimes I used to just pretend I was on FaceTime as well.
Yeah.
So you tell yourself, if I was on the phone to my mum on FaceTime, I would be holding it like this. So that's something else as well. Like, I'd make an excuse as to why I'm doing it, just in case someone asks me. No one ever will ask you. No one will ever. If the worst thing people would do is look at you like you're mad. But that's fine. You it's okay.
Yeah. A minute later, they've forgotten you. Yeah,
exactly.
They forget you straight away.
I don't make eye contact with anybody, and then I'll see that they've looked at me in the background and be like, "Oh," when I'm editing it. But other than that, that's as bad as it gets. Yeah.
Love it.
So, going back to the start then, and I know you mentioned this on your last vlog that you uploaded. I think it was last week. You managed a 10K without stopping. 60 minutes, bosh, just knocked it out of the park. At the beginning, I think you said you couldn't run for 30 seconds, but in the summer last year, you smashed an ultramarathon. So how do you go? Like, did you set out to follow a plan, or did you just go on your own journey and decide you're going to run set days during the week? How do you go from 30 seconds to an ultra? Like, your progress is it unique? Have you followed a plan? Nutrition and all that jazz?
It wasn't done professionally, seriously. It was the essence of winging it and ignoring everyone else. I know best. It was that kind of so because when I started running, I say I could only run for 30 seconds. I remember like struggling to make it to 30 seconds. So looking at that clock on the treadmill, and the people I was seeing who were starting their journeys, their first run would be, oh, I went for a run and I did like 2 miles. And even the thought of 2 miles was like, how have you physically been able to go out in public and run for 2 miles? Like, to me, that was unbelievable. So that would put me off. I just naturally haven't got it. It's not, my body can't do it. But it was the case of, well, I've got legs. I've got the same muscles that my husband has.
Mm-hmm.
I must be able to do more than 30 seconds. So he tried to give me a training back. So he is a qualified military PTI as well. So he was dying to get his nose in and give me a training plan. So he just told me, as much as he could while I would listen, that, you know, you should be going in gently and do this amount of days and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I was on a treadmill at home. And I think that's the key. I was in the comfort of my own home. And when I was able to go and do it, I could just jump on the treadmill. So if Matt was away or if he was working late, I still obviously had to put my daughter to bed, do the bedtime. And sometimes it would be sort of 8 o'clock at night, just me home alone. I've just been busy all day. That I had the ability to just get on the treadmill at home. Whereas if I would have had to have like got ready, go to a gym, drive to the gym, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to have achieved what I have, because I wouldn't have been able to go. I can't leave the house if my daughter's in bed and I'm alone. So so I would go on the treadmill, and I was walking to begin with because I physically couldn't run. And then I got to the 30-second mark, and I just remember, I got to the 30-second mark, and that's when I started to think about Couch to 5K, because that was something that Matt suggested that I try. And then I attempted Couch to 5K, but I only lasted, I think, 3 weeks doing that. Yeah, right. And I just remember, and I think I even had to repeat a week during that 3 weeks as well. It was so long ago, I wish I remembered the details, but I couldn't do it. It was too much. And the fact that this was designed for people from the couch to 5K, I was like, no, this is for the people that go out for a run and can already run 10 minutes. They can already run 20 minutes. That's not couch. I was couch. Yeah. And then that would have been another thing where I could have said, again, this isn't for me. I'm not even couch. I'm not even a beginner. What am I? So I decided to take the concept of Couch to 5K and just say, look, they want you to do more too quickly. That's what I was struggling with. And they wanted you to do the intervals that I wasn't able to do. So I just went by feel, what I could feel. So if I can run for 30 seconds, how long does it take me to feel human again, so I can run another 30 seconds? That can be my interval. So then I timed, obviously I had the treadmill, so it was really easy. So I did the 30 seconds, and then I just walked, and I told myself, who cares what that number is? It is so relevant. It's going to be horrific if you compare it to anybody. Just like you can't even do Couch to 5K. Whatever that number is, it does not mean you are a failure. That's just your number. and it took me 9 minutes to feel like I could breathe properly, walk fine, and I could try and run again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just done, and then the event. So because I did that, I was able to run again. I probably could ran 25 seconds, and then I would walk another 9. And that's how it started. I did it by feel. However I was feeling. So the next week, I didn't put pressure on myself to say, okay, I'm going to walk for 8 instead. I'm going to walk until I feel better. And if it happens to be 8, that's what I'll do. So that's kind of how I did it.
Love it. Love it. That just shows as well. So that, if you just think about that for a second, you could run for 30 seconds or whatever, but then you would need 9 minutes to recover. And then you run an ultra.
Oh, there was a lot between there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you think about
The
where that
point.
was to where it got to in the and not in the end, but where you got to last year.
I didn't even know what an ultra marathon was. I didn't even know that was a thing. Didn't know it existed.
I'm still learning. I've just learned all about this in the last few months as well. I thought it was a joke. That I thought marathon was like about the peak of what you could achieve as a runner, but no, that's just like the beginning of a whole different range of psychotic events you can do if you really want to.
Yeah, that's it.
And are there plans to do another?
I would like to do more. I definitely would like to do more. Yeah, it's trying to find. The problem is with me is I can't really plan ahead. And you kind of need to with long distance running. I don't know if I'm going to have the space to train. For example, I've just had 6 months with, well, just me and my daughter basically. And so I couldn't train even like my regular training. I could only really do at most twice a week. But both of those would have to be with the dog, and he's not going to play ball when I want to do like a 22 mile. So I don't know when that's going to happen again. So if I book a race, it's usually quite last minute. And I actually was going to book an ultra in June next month, and I was about to announce that I was going to do it. I've just found out I'm not going to be able to do it. So
what a shame.
I was about a week away from booking it, and I've just found out. So that's what stops me really, is the logistics really.
Of course. Because even in the perfect world, it's a hard thing to train for. So
100%.
If you've got other things that are going to prevent you from training, then I totally get that. It does make it difficult. But try and think now. Go back to when you actually achieved your ultra. What was that feeling when you were done?
Oh, relief. I saw it wasn't it wasn't like a grand event, it was kind of just like,
it was very low key, wasn't it? Like the end when you came in at the end with Matt, I was expecting like banners and crowds and stuff for an ultra, because I didn't know at the time what an ultra was. You doing that was the first time I'd seen one, thinking, oh really, these people are mental. Especially in that heat.
Yeah, there wasn't any crowds or anything like that. I did Manchester Marathon in 2021, and that was just amazing. So like when I did my ultra, it was just so different, such a different type of event. So it wasn't when I was getting to the end, I was looking for a flag, basically, not a big finish banner and a crowd. I was looking for a flag, and when I saw that flag, it was like all my Christmases had come at once. It was so much better than any finish of any race I've ever done. I was just so amazed that it was over and I did it. And
now compare that feeling to the feeling you had 10 miles before that.
I'm not gonna swear.
You can if you want to. There's no rule to say you can't.
10 miles before that, I was really struggling. That would have been before I even got so that would have been 23 miles in. Where was I? 23 miles? I can't even remember. Maybe I was at one of the checkpoints.
It looked like a farm track. There was like lots of farm open land and trails through forest at that point, but the sun looked like it was right in front of the camera. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The sun was horrific because there was no shade really at any point. It was just open fields and trails, and if I didn't have that hat, I don't think I could have done it. I honestly don't think I could have done it. The hat completely saved the day for me, and I think that was one of the first times I'd run in a hat as well.
Get a name drop, get sponsored. That hat got you through your ultra.
It did get me through, yeah. It's not getting the credit though. I'm still getting the credit.
Now, one of the subjects I want to touch on, and we spoke briefly with Kaylee about this on the last episode, and it's something that I did tell the story in the last episode, but I'll just so you're aware, Lucy, why I asked this. I was running with a friend of mine last year, a lady, and we were down by the river where we live in Northumberland, and off the river there's a track, and I said to her, "Oh, if you run down that track, it's a really good route down there." And she was like, "Well, no, of course not. I'm on my own all the time."
Yeah.
Right. And at the time I was like, didn't even think of it, didn't even consider that she couldn't take that route because she didn't feel safe to do so. And it's made me since that day feel, I don't know if I feel responsible, but it's made me feel like actually maybe there's something that, and I don't know what that something is, but maybe there's something that we can do as men to make that better. And whether that's maybe just go in for runs with women that want to go on these routes or what, I don't know what the answer is. But I'd be really interested to know your approach. And I think yours might be slightly different simply for the nature of where you live, where you might get the benefit that you can go on the tank tracks, where the civvies maybe don't get to go, and places like that. But I wonder if that is something you have to consider as a female.
100%, definitely. Yeah. I kind of almost have rules that Matt doesn't have to follow. So, like, for example, this time of year is really lovely because it's so light all evening. So if I wanted, I could go for a run straight after this. But if it's a, gets dark early time of year, that option, it just eradicates, it disappears. It's not there for me, just purely for safety. And early mornings, if it's still dark, I do feel a little bit more comfortable. But it needs to be at least, get in there, and it will be light soon. Yeah. And when it comes to places I don't feel safe, I just don't even try. Yeah.
Does Storm, and I mean this genuinely, does Storm kind of ease that anxiety a little bit if you've got him out with you, or would he just go up and ask to throw the ball? Is he protective of his mum? That's what I mean. Like,
Storm is very protective of me and not of Matt, which I've always thought was very strange. He doesn't like people being near me. I've had an instance before where a gentleman, or a gentleman, a man, I don't know, he came up to me on a run with Storm, and he was asking to stroke Storm, but he got close and was about to do it while he was asking. I would always say no initially because I would want him to sit calm, but he didn't, and Storm just, he wasn't aggressive, he's just very bouncy, jumping around. Storm got in the middle between us, and sometimes I feel like Storm makes me feel less comfortable because he's a very attractive dog to others, so they always want to say hello to Storm. Right. So it kind of, that man wouldn't have come over to me at all if I didn't have him.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So yes and no. I definitely feel better with him if I needed him to just bolt with me or make me feel less approachable. But at the same time, maybe he makes me feel more approachable. So I'm a bit 50-50 with Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, when I was on, I joined a running club a month or two ago, and I spoke to a couple of because when I go to running clubs, I go on a Tuesday and Thursday if I can. Honestly, it feels like it's like 90% female, and the couple of females that I spoke to about it kind of said that was almost the reason why, because that's a safe zone for them to go running in a night time, because we meet at like 6:30 p.m. Which is nice now, but like you say, in November, December, January, it's really dark, and it made sense to me at that point. Oh, I get it. And now I understand actually why there are so many females here compared to the lads. That was their safe zone. It's just really interesting to me. And is there something that we can do as men that? And I don't know. There's an answer to that. No, that's a difficult.
It's a hard one, really. I think if you are able to run with someone, if you know a woman who wants to run in the evening and you know that she feels uncomfortable and you're able to go with her, but there's a lot of ifs, and you should she might not tell you that she doesn't feel comfortable, and she might not want to ask you. So yeah, it is a very difficult question, really, because I used to have a friend who I ran with back where I lived previously, and we would have conversations like she would tell me a certain road that she ran down and she didn't feel comfortable, told me to avoid it. So these are just basic everyday conversations that women will have. But in terms of helping, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because if I was to see you guys on a run, I wouldn't be intimidated by you guys running. But if I was on a path that I didn't feel comfortable on and I saw a man running in front, I'd do that thing that all women do and analyse in my head. But I don't know if I don't want to say give them a thumbs up, but that would just be strange. But I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think there's an answer. I don't think there's an answer, is the truth. And it's funny because and the reason it's so difficult is because it's not men that you have to be scared of. It's some men that you have to be scared of. And you don't know who those some men are.
It's got to be a collective thing that everybody does.
Yeah.
Then
so
you can pinpoint.
Uniform. They don't wear a uniform, do they? So it's difficult.
And it's sad that until we started discussing this a little while back, Freddie, we take it for granted that we can just run anywhere. It doesn't even cross my mind to think that looks a bit sketchy down there. I just go. And
I'm like, oh, that dark alley looks fun. Let's go. It doesn't matter.
I've got two sisters, and one of them's a runner, and she lives in central London. And she's pointed out to me now that she doesn't go running in winter through central London. Yeah. She goes in the gym and hides, which is really sad if you like running outdoors. Yeah. It's just something we take for granted, and it does need to change. Something needs to be highlighted, I think.
100%.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no sign as a saying this person's a potential weirdo.
I've just poured the worst beer in the world.
What?
Sorry, everybody. I'll let you down there.
That's terrible.
Would you like a flake in that?
Oh, it's so bad. Go down. Sorry.
So, obviously, you move around a little bit, Lucy, with your lifestyle and Matt being in the forces. So one thing I've noticed, and I mentioned to Freddie again, this is something that it's quite rare to see it not mentioned on running channels or healthy channels. There's a distinct lack of parkrun contribution from yourself. Have you never done parkrun?
I've never done a parkrun.
Really?
Wow.
I know. I think runner I've never. For that. Yeah. Before I started my journey, I used to go and watch Matt at the local park run. This was 2 houses ago, and I remember getting up early on the Saturday and dragging the pushchair out and waiting around. Thankfully, he's so fast. I only had to wait like 17 minutes, but even that was too long for me. And then my daughter, she's done junior park run a few times. Me, no, I've never done it. Never done it. I don't know. I keep saying I'll do one, and then all of a sudden it's 3 years and I still haven't.
You're missing out, You really are. You're missing out.
I know. I've been to so many. I've watched them, but
What a shame. You should just swallow that one and get it done.
Yeah.
I'll have to do it for a vlog. There we go.
I was going to say, there's some...
Force me to do it.
There's content there for you waiting.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Nutrition.
Yeah. Some of your videos you do, what you eat in a day and stuff. Have you married that up with the training, or as you started to get into your running and you noticed things were fitting better, did you adjust the food, or have you always been into being careful about what you eat once you started to set your target?
So I always feel like I'm so boring when it comes to food, but I'm kind of boring on purpose because before I started, I tried to lose weight many a time. I know I probably look quite young. Thank you, lads. But I am 33. I've had a lot of...
Oh, you are quite young.
That's very young.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. I'm nearly 48.
Yeah. I've had plenty of years where I've tried to diet and it's failed, and yo-yo diets, and I grew up with the what are those Special K diet, Slim Fast. That's what all of the women around me were doing, and that's my idea of a diet. That's my idea of losing weight and being healthier. So whenever I attempted to diet or cut back or whatnot, that's what I would try and do. And it's not the food that I would go for. So it was restrict, and then I can't restrict anymore. And then it would just be like everything all at once. I want it all now. And I knew that was a cycle that I couldn't afford to get into because everything I wanted was just never going to happen. Yeah. So again, I did this thing where I was like, I know best. And I just said, look, I cook for Matt. Matt is the fittest person I've met in my life. My food is okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to drink Slim Fast shakes and give Matt the food that I would have eaten. I can still eat everything I love.
Yep.
So I had exactly the same food that I used to eat. I just had less. I just put a smaller portion on. And that's kind of how I continue to do it. And I took note of how many calories I need to maintain the weight I'm at, how many calories are in certain things. But because I didn't want to go over the top about it, I just kept it very simple. So I would round up calories. I would estimate calories, round them up. And obviously I'd go off my watch, but I'd always know 20% is, we can take 20% off and it'd probably be a bit more realistic. That's kind of how I work things out. So when it comes to the nutrition and the things that I'm eating, like the protein, and if I add things for what I'm training for, I literally just keep it with, if I like it, if my calories allow it, I'll have it, sort of thing. And I think, that's how I've managed to sustain the weight loss. Obviously I've had moments where I put some back on, put some back off, but I've never gone back to 230, and every time I've lost weight in the past I've put it back on and then some. So I've never even been, I've not even got close to 200 pounds again. So I think that's how I've been able to keep on top of it.
You've cracked it. You've cracked it.
I've kept it simple and easy. Yeah.
I like it. You mentioned Matt there, and I know you mentioned Matt earlier saying that he really wanted to kind of help you and put a program in place for you, and you're like, no, bugger off, I've got this. Does he still try and join in? Does he get pushy when he sees that you need it?
Mm-hmm. He never gave up. If I'm honest, he kept trying to help me. He knows what he's talking about. And he knows what he's doing. And I take snippets of what he says.
Right.
And
is that because he's your husband? You're like, I'm not taking it all. I'll just take the bits I want.
Well, he's not always right, But yeah, the thing is with Matt, he's never been in a larger body. He's always been very, very fit. He joined the military at 16, and then, to be honest, he just got fitter as time went on. So I listen to him, and I know that he's right, but I also know that I'm not a centurion runner. So I take what I need, and I convert it into how it would work for me, my abilities, and
love it.
I think it's one of those ones. This is like the same reason they always say you never have a sibling teach you how to drive, because even though they could be showing you the right way, it's that link. It's like, I know best. I'm going to do it my way, and then you end up like it. But no, he's a machine, isn't he? And he did the London Marathon recently.
Yes.
How did he get on?
Oh, it's really frustrating to watch him, because he spent 6 months deployed, and in those 6 months he basically gave up running.
Yeah.
He was in a country that was just piled with snow, so he couldn't run anywhere. So he gave up running for 6 months, came home. He took us to Paris on holiday. We ate as much as we deserve to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come back and he runs a 3-hour 22 marathon.
That is insane.
Like, with no training, no nothing, not even any music. Just him in his own head. Yeah, insane. And also as well, he was texting me updates while he was running. How he was texting me at that speed.
I love it. That's just taking the piss.
It
was
big time.
Very frustrating. Yeah, very frustrating. But I was so happy for him. So happy.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I mean, like you say, to for anyone to go 3:22, that's solid training plan to get there. But just be off not being able to run and then coming back and filling your face while you're in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And pull out a 3:22.
Yeah.
Matt, you're not welcome on the podcast, mate.
Not welcome.
Not coming on. Yeah. Can't deal with and trolls. I know we briefly mentioned this. I think that was before we were rolling. Trolls, and because you do put yourself out there. You are on YouTube, which for anyone that does YouTube or whatever else, you're basically saying, "I'm here. If you want to throw something at me, throw it. It's fine." And you got to expect it, and I think we all do expect it. And I'll be honest, I've only had one proper troll so far, who quickly disappeared, if I'm honest. But my channel is quite a bit smaller than yours, so I'm imagining you must get a good number of trolls every now and then, I'm sure.
It's not massively frequent.
No, but how do you deal with that? Because it is difficult to deal with if you wanted to, because it can be easy to take it personal.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think it is just human nature anyway to always remember the negative, isn't it? It's you could have 100 people compliment you, but that one person that gives you that look, that will stick with you all night, sort of
Crap on your
thing.
day.
So yeah, it's quite similar to that. In the very beginning, it was really horrible. I remember. Oh, I say it was really horrible. Like I had loads of them. I didn't. I remember I had one. It was nasty to me in the early stages, and I got rid of the comment, and then they moved on and started messaging me on Instagram, and like I messaged before like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's given me a little bit of PTSD. I don't like to go onto those requested messages on Instagram. I will get over that at some point, because I know that some people do actually message me on there, like Scott did, and I haven't come across that because of what happened then. So yeah, I'm sure there's loads of messages on there that I would absolutely love to read. So that's affected me doing that. But now, if they were to comment, I genuinely don't tend to get through. It's a hate comment, so once I work out this isn't nice, I stop reading and I get rid of it. Move on. Yeah. But it doesn't happen enough for it to really stop me wanting to upload. I have the most unbelievable people in my comments, so supportive, like incredible. Even if I've had the worst run ever and I've flogged it and I've just literally moaned the whole time, like for 8 minutes of me moaning about everything, hot and sweaty, an absolute mess, and people will be in my comments just saying like, you've inspired me to go for a run, and it's like, this is why I do it, this is what I do it for. So yeah, when I do get those negative comments, it does affect me, but it doesn't happen enough for it to really affect me.
It sounds like you've got a healthy grip on it, to be fair. And I guess I haven't experienced it enough to really, like I say, I've had one who was I'm going to say it, he was an absolute dickhead, and as soon as I realised that, I'm okay, it doesn't matter to me. I'm nearly 48-year-old. I don't care about your words on the computer, I do wonder why people feel the need to do it. why they want to be so. When you're doing something so positive, why they need to be try and drag you down? Because the message that you put out is nothing but positivity. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day, it's still a positive message.
Yeah. I'm not gonna massage both of your egos too much here, but like I said before, I am a viewer, and I'm probably sat here now because of channels like you two, because it was honest and real, but it was, and you probably don't realise, but because you're getting it done and you're showing everything and bearing it all, it does inspire people, because I was in a terrible shape and I was overweight, and I needed normal vloggers and people to show you that it is possible. And when I found that, if you just got to focus on the inspirational side of it, and I'm the same. I was going through the comments on both your channels and picking up the positivity from people and realising it's not just me in this sport. There's lots of people out there that want to do this, and they're taking positives from this content. And it's a massive. I struggle to relate. I struggle to relate to the elite running vloggers. You know, the super speeds, the ones in 300-pound trainers and breaking 15-minute park runs and stuff. That's a million miles from where I am and where I wanted to be. But then, I would never ever focus on the negative side of it, because there's probably a lot of people in my board that are doing the same. They're just not sat here talking to you two in real life. It's, there you go. I'll stop the massage.
Well, I would say with those comments, because those comments that you get, them positive ones that are saying that you're making a difference. From the outside looking in, you might look at that and think, "Oh, that's going to massage his ego." It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I don't feel like it gives you any ego at all. It actually it makes you feel good about what you're doing. But I really relate to them people that are saying it and I get a bit. I don't know. I'm going to say this all wrong, but sometimes when they say to me, "I really relate to you. You are just where I am. I'm a big guy. You're a big guy. Blah blah blah." And in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to be a big guy."
Oh, I see. Yeah,
So I have that little battle. I'm like, I don't want to be that big guy for you, but I am, and I accept that. But I'm so when people do relate to it, which is great that they relate to it. I also want them to know that I'm not trying to be that person. I'm trying to be a different person. I've just got a big journey to get there. So come with, and let's do it together that way. Because I do sometimes feel like I don't know, if I wasn't the big guy, would the channel die?
I thought that. I've had that thought as well. I thought that, if I lost another, I don't know, 50 pounds, would I become what I was trying to, would I become the person I kept finding in the beginning?
Right.
I did have thought that before, but I mean, the chances of me losing another 50 pounds, probably,
Why not?
Yeah.
You don't need to. That's the thing, though, isn't it? You were in a bad place. You got yourself to a good place. Why go further?
Yeah, I think because my original goal was to get down to 140 pounds.
Right.
I'm now in the 170s, and I've been in the 170s for about 2 years, and
Happy.
I'm just so content. So content. So I am like umming. Do I still keep going? But it wouldn't be because I don't want to be the big girl. It would be because I want to help with my running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I do really love, though. When I'm maybe contradicting myself a bit here, I do love it when people can see that a big guy can do it. Like,
Yes.
my 5K is not particularly quick. It's 24:38.
He's not slow. Go on, say that again. Thank you.
No,
yeah.
No. It's 24:38, but that's at 18 stone. I'm 5'10". I'm not a tall guy, so 5'10", and I was around 18 stone when I did that. So it's kind of says people, because some people struggle to do 30-minute park run when they're 12 stone, 20-year-old, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I do like that side of it, where I'm saying, even though we're big, it don't mean we're useless. We can still do something cool, and that doesn't have to mean quick. It can mean you're doing something where you're going far, or you're climbing up high, or you're doing something. And again, even that is all relative to you, because it's not quick compared to Matt. It's quick compared to Freddie, from where Freddie was yesterday. And seeing those improvements. That's and your improvements must be huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we know how you like 30 seconds you couldn't, but when was the first time you got to a 5K, and what did that 5K look like?
Okay. The 5K
It's hard to
run.
remember. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll get there. The 5. So when I was on the treadmill, I was back on the treadmill. I wouldn't have been at my heaviest. I would have lost some weight by then. But I would have been still running at that point. I didn't run non-stop for a long time. And then my first 5K, Matt was working late, and he came back and he looked at the treadmill and he said, "Oh, you've just done a 5K." And I was like, "What? Have I?" I'd just done like a run walk, like I was saying before, how long, run as long as I could, walk as long as I needed.
Yeah.
And it took me 63 minutes at that point. And then I stopped the thing, and I was like, I just did a 5, like the fact that I just did a 5K. I didn't even know how long a 5K was. I heard people say 5K. I heard, runners talk like that. And I never thought I could ever talk like that. I didn't think that would be, I thought it was a lot further than it was. And I couldn't believe that those words came out of Matt's mouth. "Oh, you've done a 5K. And just walked away, and he just blew my mind and didn't know. And yeah, that was 63 minutes on the treadmill, run, walk. And if I'm being really honest, it probably was a little bit longer than that, because if I did get off and stretch, that wouldn't have included in the treadmill. But yeah, it was 63 minutes on there. And then by the time from there to running outside was months. Maybe 4 months before I was able to actually go outside and do that sort of thing. But my first non-stop 5K, I struggle to remember that moment. My first non-stop 10K, I remember because I attempted my non-stop 10K a couple of weeks before that, and I pressed pause on my watch by accident while I was running.
Oh no.
I did that, and it was at 4.3 miles.
Oh.
And I didn't know at what point I'd paused it either. I didn't know if I'd just done it or if I'd done it like way back there. And yeah, so then I stopped the run, nearly threw my watch into the road. Really angry with myself, because once I'd stopped then. It wasn't my non-stop. So yeah, I remember that moment very clearly. And then yeah, I managed to do it a couple of weeks later. But that was insane. It was like running non-stop. I think that back then, I can't remember the times exactly. You'll have to forgive me. It was maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe back then of non-stop. And it was euphoric. Like, it was an experience I never thought I could ever live. Money can't buy that.
No. It's a drug, isn't it? It is a drug.
Yeah. The achievement, the pride, and it was like, that was the time when I completely converted, and I was like, there's no other body out there that I would rather have. This is the only thing I want. And for the first time in my life, as a woman, as we are from little children all the way up, you're constantly like, is this fit? Does this fit? Do I look nice? Like our mums are, you should wear that. That looks better on you. It's like comparing to all other women, media telling you how you should look, what you should eat, how you should feel. That was the first time in my life I was obsessed with my body. There was no other body out there. You could offer to swap it for any at that moment, and I would be giving you the finger. Yeah. No way. And that's just, it's not just the physical things that you get from running. It's the change in your mental state. It's the way you feel about yourself. And running non-stop 10K, there are people out there that would laugh at me feeling like that for running a 10K. They run marathons for fun, Matt. But I mean, he wouldn't laugh at anyone for feeling like that. But yeah, but that's not the point. It's about achieving something that you didn't think was in your destiny, was possible for you at any point in your life. You didn't think it correlated with you at any point, and you did it, and it was all you. Every last moment, it was all you, and that was the moment where I was like, oh, I think I'm a runner. You know, like this is it now.
Listening to that, you've reminded me that so many times I looked at 10K on my training plan when I first started and thinking, one day I'll do that. And then doing it and going through all those emotions. And I think I said it a few podcasts back. It's like a hidden drug that nobody tells you about until you start running. But if you could bottle the high you get from doing that kind of thing and achieving that, you'd never have to work a day in your life, would you? You'd make millions selling that feeling. It's insane the buzz you get from it. And I did a long run today, and it's the shortest long run I've ever done on a Sunday. I did 10 miles this morning. That. It's the shortest long run I've ever done. 10 miles. I'd have said a year ago, I'm just going to do 10 miles today.
Just double digits.
Exactly. Who are you kidding? Like 10 miles. Can't walk to the shops to buy a paper. But it's so weird how you progress, and like you say about the body, I'm really proud of what I've managed to achieve with this frame I've got now. I'm 6'5", and I'm now looking more like a beanpole than I did when I was 15 years old. It's ridiculous, but I've got there through grafting, and it's hard work, and there's blood and sweat and tears go into it. But you've just nailed it there, Lucy, with that high you get from doing those runs for the first time. It pushes you on. You think, this is a pain, but I love it, and I want to do it again, and I want to go further, and it snowballs. And it's exactly like you couldn't have summed it up better there. That high is brilliant.
It doesn't matter how far that is either. It's not like, only a marathon makes you feel that way. No, a 1 mile run done right makes you feel that way.
Oh, yeah. When I ran 1 mile non-stop for the first time, I burst into tears. I walked into the living room crying. I couldn't even say it out loud. And Matt was on the PlayStation like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And I couldn't even say, I've just ran a mile non-stop. I was choking up, crying, and that was 1 mile. I can now. I do that 33 times. Yeah. You know, but the problem is once you get addicted to it, you have to do further.
Yeah.
Right.
See? Now I've done 50k.
Yeah.
I've got to go further. I've always got to do it all again to do that little bit to then get that high.
And you know that's where a bit I struggle with, and even today, Scott, when we jumped online today, you asked me how today went, and I've as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I realised what I'd said, and I'd realised my attitude towards it was almost a bit negative, and I do this a lot, and I don't know why, and I actually don't know if I want to stop it either, because you basically said to me, what did you get? I told you the time I got, which was a PB. I should be over the moon, right? And I am. I'm really happy. It's really.
And
good.
It wasn't seconds you shaved off, by the way. It was
7 minutes. Yeah, which is a lot over a half marathon. Yeah, but at the same time, I did say, because you're like, oh, how'd you feel about it? I was like, I know there's more. I know that there's more in me. So I find it really hard to get excited about it because I know there's more in me, you know? And I don't know if I want to get rid of that or not. I think it's probably healthier to get rid of it. But a bit of me that thinks that's what drives me on as well. Because even like I did Endure 24 last year, and I got 52 miles in 24 hours. And I was really happy about it, but it's not enough. I want to beat it. I constantly want to keep striving for more. And I haven't worked out yet if that's healthy or not. Thoughts?
I'll wait for Lucy to speak first. I know what I'm going to say.
You saying that's something that I think no matter what level you are, I think everybody must feel that way, because even Matt does that. So Matt's done 200 milers now, and every time he's finished one, he's obviously overjoyed, relieved, but he's also in the back of his mind, I can do better, I can do better, I can do better. And me being who I am, where I started the whole way through, I can do better, I can do better. And it pushes you to keep going, because I could have very easily stopped after Manchester Marathon and not gone on to do an ultra. You know?
The marathon's the pinnacle, isn't it? That's what everyone wants to do. I want to do a marathon.
Yeah.
And you crushed it.
But without me thinking like you, thinking I can do better, I can do more, then would I have gone on to do the ultra? Would I have? Maybe not. So it's probably not a bad thing, as long as it doesn't consume you and take the joy away, because that would be quite negative.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am very naive still about all this stuff, and I'd have said today I shaved 7 minutes off my PB. End of conversation. But you said I've shaved 7 minutes off my PV, and then you went on to say,
"There's more,"
and I've got more. I'd have been amazed and buzzing. On the flip side, I did Manchester Marathon a few weeks ago, and because of that, off the high of doing that, and because Freddie's been on at me for ages about doing Enduro 24, my guard was down, and I bloody entered Enduro 24 to do at the end of June. so the buzz of doing the marathon, like, it should come with a safety warning. Keep away from keyboards and PayPal and credit cards until a week after these long runs, because, the euphoric feeling does make you push on and want to do more. So I understand why you want to do it. But at the same time, I'm very positive about, I've just smashed 7 minutes off my PB. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And I was for 30 seconds. Then I'm like, okay, when can we go again? And that's just how I'm thinking about it. And I like that about me, and I dislike that about me. Because it would be nicer, I think, if I sat back, enjoyed it, made the most. Really think about that. So it's an achievement, no matter how I look at it. It's a big achievement for me. 7 minutes is a long, it's a long time. It's more than
you could run another kilometre. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a long way.
Because my average today was 6 minutes 5 per kilometre. So it's it's over a kilometre, but still within 30 seconds I was okay. When can I do my next? When can I go again to do that race? Which one can I target? And I want to stop it, but I don't. I don't know.
I think it's probably more common than you think.
I think maybe it is.
To feel that way. Yeah.
So, injuries. Have you suffered any? How do you cope with it? How's it looking at the moment?
At the moment, I'm okay. I have had injuries in the past, but I've been so lucky. Yeah, in terms of, brutal injuries, I've been very, very lucky. The beginning of my running, shin splints, horrific. That could have ended it a couple times in the beginning. They were so bad, and they were one of the reasons why I picked up more strength training and started to try and run outside, because I thought it was the treadmill that was doing it to my shins. And I've had to have like 2 weeks off running. This was way back in the beginning. Lots of stretching. First run back on the treadmill. Ouch! It's back right now. That was probably about 3 months of thinking I was better. It's not better. But as I got stronger, I think that's what eased it off. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's a case of I literally had no conditioning at all to running whatsoever. So the chances of me getting shin splints was very high anyway. So I had that struggle. I have had other injuries, but they've not been brutal enough to take me out the game for long. I think I had a couple months off training for my ultra because I got some pain in my leg. I did way too much too soon. I followed a training plan.
Right.
Who do I think I am? And it was just too much for me.
This one up?
Yeah, basically. It was a plan that Matt found me, and I stuck it to the fridge, and I did it as and when I could, because you can't always stick to the right days. And then I did think this is a lot more than what I would be used to. And then I had to take a couple months off. And then I did the thing that I did in the beginning. When I got better, I looked at that training plan and I just adjusted it to me and what I could do. But it all went to, because it was the hottest day of the year anyway. And I didn't train in the heat at all. So
I'm thinking that must have been the same weekend that I did Enduro 24.
I think it was.
Do you think? It was the 25th of June, I think.
Same
I
weekend.
thought it was,
Yeah. It was horrendous.
Awful. Yeah.
So what's Lucy like when she's told she can't run and needs to rest around the house as a person?
All of a sudden, there's two kids in the house.
Yeah.
If I need to rest because I'm in pain, then I don't feel bad about that at all. I can mentally cope with that. If I can't run because of Matt not being here or because of whatever, then I get really it's really tough.
That's because you don't have control over that, isn't it?
No control, yeah. It's kind of like if you are injured, you've got no control how long it's going to take. It's very frustrating, but I know that if you have pain, you know the kind of pain I'm talking about. Not like this is hard pain. It's sharp pain. Yeah. I know you don't mess around with that. You stay home. Yeah.
Well, now is where we get to the really important part of the podcast. We have the same few questions that we ask all of our guests each episode, and these are important because these actually, one of them it affects mine and Scott's relationship. First of all, music, podcasts, or no when you're running?
Music.
Every time.
Every time.
And
every time.
The really important part of that question: what music?
Oh, there's so many different. I have a playlist on Spotify that I created. I've just added 2. It's very long, like 3 years of me going, oh, I like that song. Add it.
Yeah.
But the general gist is Beyonce. She's very good. She.
Get
in.
Pretty.
If you are on a hill, okay?
Yeah.
You're on a hill, you're hanging out, you don't think you can do this anymore. Beyonce yelling at you in here.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It is a game changer because I'm on that hill, I'm looking for the cliff and jumping off.
No.
What you've just done there, Lucy, has made this 2-2 now.
2-2.
So the guests we've had on previously, Freddie's a bit of a metalhead, and we had lots of people who just listened to some heavy stuff that I just refused to acknowledge. And I thought more people would be into my kind of music, and you've just nailed it there and brought me back to 2-2. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Right. Well, next one, we actually kind of agree on this one. This is one that we do pretty much agree on. Trainers are ridiculously expensive if you want to get the good ones. I've seen some. Is it nearly £500 now? You can get the top end trainers, and they might last you a marathon. They say, and after a marathon they're useless, which is just ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
What's Lucy's limit
on price wise?
Yeah. I'll tell you where we're at. I'm at 150 quid.
Is Matt in the room? Is Matt allowed to hear this?
Matt's in the room. He's playing FIFA. That's why I keep going green. What is my limit? I'm just trying to think. What's the most I've spent? I think I've spent 200.
Wow.
I think I've spent that. I can't remember how much I spent. 200, I think.
Lucy's gone in at the Steve Cummins level here. Another guest we've had on who's like super shoe addict. 200
really?
quid.
I've spent that on a pair of shoes, but I wouldn't do that I don't do that every time. No. They were just ones that I wanted to try. I do have the Alpha Flies.
Right.
As well, but they were half price on sale at the time.
Got you.
So Matt got a pair and I got a pair. So technically, I didn't pay anything for them.
Right. Does Matt spend a lot of money on shoes?
No, he's the same as me. We spend about the same. Yeah, we don't have a particular one that we love and we will always go to. We like to try different ones out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like it.
That the expo you went to, the New Balance expo, was it before London? Was it New Balance?
Yeah.
That looked pretty bling. There was some nice shoes on display there. That looked cool.
They were so nice, and when I picked them up, I was like, are these the genuine pair, or are these made of paper? Like they are so light. Yeah.
And last week we had Chris and Kaylee, who we mentioned from the YouTube channel, those two runners. We always ask our guests to ask a question of the next guest without knowing who that is. And they've asked you, now this relates to when you're actually out on the run. So I know we talked about nutrition in terms of your weight loss, but nutrition that works for you when you're out on a run, and any disasters that you might have had as a result of that.
Any food disasters on a run?
Well, it could. Well, I don't want to get rude, but it could be.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yeah.
No, I've not had any disasters like that on a run.
Right. What about hitting the
nutrition-
wall because of your nutrition?
Yeah, I've done that plenty of time. So I don't take nutrition as serious as I should. I think a lot of the time I go and I've just got to go and not think about it because I don't always have the time to prep. So if, let's say I'm doing a half marathon, I'll know that I will drop my daughter off at that time, come home, get changed. And it's usually a case of fill the vest and get off and go, because I'm not the quickest runner in the world. So I just got to get out there and get it done. So there are times where I'm like, I should have brought something. I'm flagging. I haven't eaten right. But what works for me when I do plan ahead, I love gels. I can't remember what brand it is. I can't remember what brand. Matt, what brand gels do I like? Sis.
Yeah. SIS.
SIS. Yeah.
Orange
ones of those. If I am using gels on a long run, my general rule is every 5 miles I'll use those.
Yeah.
And then eat physical food wise, flapjacks. Love flapjacks.
Yeah.
I had sausage rolls on my ultra.
He's done that.
And I got a hard time for that. I put that on my. I was out on an ultra. I don't think I had breakfast that day, and it took me about 12 miles till I come to a shop. Right, so I was like, I don't care what it sells. I'm eating it. That shop just happened to be Greg's.
Oh, beautiful.
Right, I'm doing, and I actually did a vegan sausage roll and a regular sausage roll, and on the video I bit into it. Oh no, my God! No wonder you're fat. You're eating Greg's sausage rolls while you're out running. I'm like, oh, get over it. I hadn't eaten for 12 miles. I can manage a sausage roll.
If there's any time you're allowed to eat a sausage roll, it's running, running.
And I think that was like a 20-mile run. So I was halfway through nearly, just over halfway through a 20-mile run. A sausage roll was not going to do me any damage at that point. And it was lovely.
Needed.
The only thing I'd be worried about on that is I'd get heartburn. That would be my biggest downfall. Heartburn off a sausage roll.
I didn't get heartburn.
I'm good at sausage roll.
My absolute go-to is Tailwind. 100%.
I've never tried it.
You have to try it. It's the best. It is the best. Yeah. Matt got it in preparation for his first 100-miler. He found out about it, and he was doing it, and he told me how good it was. And I don't always do what he recommends because obviously not everything works for everyone, does it? So you have to try it yourself, don't you? And I was like, okay, I'll try it, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But it was so good, really, really good. Yeah, I feel more hydrated, and I don't get that like ravenous. It satiates me, I feel so much. I could last a lot longer. Yeah. So Tailwind is my definite go-to.
There's two I want to try. One is on a Tailwind, but Morton's the other one. You see Morton are popping up everywhere.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
No.
Morton, but it's so expensive. It's like £3 a gel.
Is it?
Yeah, and I'm like, £3 a gel when you might have 4 or 5 or 6 in a run. And you think, I can't keep investing in that. That seems a bit crazy to me.
And you need to test it as well before you use it on a race day, because if it doesn't agree with you, and you've invested £30 in these things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's very expensive.
I've got one more question before we ask Lucy for a question for the next guest. But Lucy, it's more about your next vlog. You hinted at what you were doing in your last video, and you don't have to go into too much detail because I don't want you to spoil it for your vlog. But can you give us a bit of a hint as to the project and what you were doing, and explain for people that aren't from the UK what a Bergen is?
Okay. So you, the one where
I've
put
seen the
burger
clips
on a
of what's
bread.
coming soon, but
Yeah.
the premise
Yes.
behind that is a brilliant idea.
It's really clever.
Okay, that video, I've been wanting to make that video for so long, but it's just the logistics of it and stuff. But a Bergen is basically, Matt is going to hate the way I'm going to describe this. It's basically a big backpack, huge, that the military use. They usually do it. They usually use it in a TAB, which is a tactical advance to battle. So when you see them all together, grouped up with those massive backpacks, that's the Bergen, and they will run walk basically with those on. And I decided that okay, so my idea was I wanted to know how long I could keep running, but with all the weight back on after what I've achieved so far. So I didn't know how else I could recreate 50 pounds on my body again. I did look into getting like weighted vests and things. They're so expensive. Not going to do that. And so then I just got Matt to pack a Bergen, and I stepped on the scales to weigh my heaviest again. And I just went to see how far I can run.
Brilliant.
No, obviously don't tell us the results, but you've done the video, have you? You've recorded it?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think it's going up on the 20th. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Look forward to that. That's going to be a really interesting one. Because I've often thought that actually when I'm running parkrun and some little skinny thing will come past me and I try carrying my weight on your back and then see how you get on. Because it makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Again, without going, just say yes or no to this. Were you surprised by the results?
Was I surprised?
Were your knees surprised?
I think I was surprised. I was. It was such an experience that I needed to have.
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing that.
Cracking idea. It really was.
Yeah. So come on, we did ask you beforehand if you could come up with a question for the next guest, not knowing who that guest is, so we can write that down and ask them in the next episode. So
I think I want to know, at what point in your journey did you learn the most about yourself, and what point was it, and what was it that you learned?
Good one. Yeah.
Sorry, you keep talking. I'm writing this down.
Well, we have a shared list of agenda items. Freddie's actually typing that down as we speak. I can see it on my screen. There we go. Chris and Kaylee mentioned that last week. They review lots of different park runs, and the question they always ask now at the end of each one is what they've learned from that run, that session. It's a good one because it's different every time, isn't it? But yeah, that's great.
Right, Lucy. Go on. No, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that's it's been surreal talking to you today, Lucy, because like I say, I've been watching the channel for about a year, and me and my wife, every time you upload, we're like, yes, Lucy's uploaded one. Same on a Sunday when Freddie was uploading, we were like, oh, there's another one. I'll have a lazy morning and watch this on the big TV. So
that's so amazing.
To get you on, it's been brilliant. And I hope there's lots of this influences, that's what inspires some people to give it a go and see what's achievable, because your journey's like it's far from over, but it's hats off to you, missus, honestly. It's brilliant.
It's a great story, and it needs to be told, and people need to follow. So those that maybe are not familiar with you, how do they find you on the socials and what have you? What's your handles?
At lucyshawvlogs, YouTube and Instagram, and I'll be there waiting, putting my trainers on.
Amazing.
Come along.
And that's what I love it when you do that on your videos. You always say, come on.
Where you been?
Love it. No, it's been really, really nice getting to know you a little bit, Lucy. So we thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. And again, we do say this to guests that we like. We'll get you on again, hopefully, in the future, and have another catch up and see how things are moving on.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Talk about your 100K.
Oh, stop it.
You never know. You never know. So yeah, it's been really good chatting. We really appreciate you, and I hope you continue to inspire. And so anyone that's listening to this or watching this, get on YouTube, go and have a look at Lucy's channel, and go and follow the story because it's a good one and it needs to be heard. Right, so that is the end of episode 7.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah, lucky number 7. Right, that's that. Thanks for listening, and we will see you in a week or so for the next episode. And we've got that one lined up as well. So thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Bye.